signs of pre-dynastic architecture. Why, this could be the most significant thing we've found so far.
It just looks like a bunch of old carvings to me, Professor.
A bunch of old carvings, huh? I'll have you know this could be the oldest writings in the galaxy.
Jeez, how old?
Well, initial fission track dating puts this whole settlement at over 1 billion years old, give or take a million.
1 billion?
Oh, yes. You see, sentient life hadn't developed anywhere outside the ancient culture at that time. The earliest now non-tetrarch civilization is.
Wait a second, Professor. The Harema.
I'm glad to say that I wasn't wasting all my time during my classes. You obviously learned something.
Well, I wouldn't have wanted to come all the way out here to some godforsaken dead world in the middle of nowhere if I didn't want to learn something.
Oh, really? I thought it was more that you wanted to spend the summer break with your mother. No rest for the weary. Kellerman here.
Mike, is Peter there with you?
Now, don't panic, Melissa. He's here. What's going on?
Isometric scans are detecting a big storm moving into the primary site area. It's probably best we have everyone return to the camp as soon as possible.
How long until it breaks?
About 30 minutes or so, Velder reckons.
We're too deep in the complex to get back to the camp in time. We should be safe if we take cover in the main corridor sections. We'll be deep enough to avoid any of the discharges.
I'm not a big fan of that idea.
Oh, Melissa, you worry too much. Peter and I will be just fine.
Well, if you think...
I do, so stop clucking like some old mother hen. We'll contact you once the storm passes. Kellerman out.
Who was that?
Your mother. Panicking about you again.
I wish you'd realize I'm not a little kid anymore.
Well, parents have always had a hard time adjusting to the fact their children have grown up, Peter. Anyway, there's a storm coming. We'd best take cover in here.
Is it safe?
It stood for over 1 billion years without collapsing. I guess it will be fine.
And there's nothing in there?
What? The boogeyman? Peter, this world has been dead for longer than some planets have had life on them. There's nothing here. Now let's go before that storm front gets here. And before your mother calls again.
Stop pacing, Michelle. It won't help.
Easy for you to say. Your best friend and son weren't out in that storm.
Listen, you know Mike is a competent field researcher. This kind of thing is second nature to him. They'll be...
Oh no.
This is Dig Site 1. We hear you loud and clear. Over.
Dig Site. Mom. Oh, Jesus.
Peter, thank God you're all right.
Mom, you gotta get higher, quick. It's the Professor.
What's happened?
I think he's dead.
I know you're snowed under, Chief, but is there any chance?
Any chance? Any chance of me actually managing to complete the maintenance cycle before we drown under requests for other stuff? Sure, people would stop bothering me.
Chief?
I'm sorry, Commander. My work crews are up to their eyes in repair duties. I think we need a layover to replace some of our components.
You should have said. I'll get more work crews assigned to you, if it'll help.
Thanks. It'll be a big help.
Chief! Commander Albrecht asked me to come down.
I swear she's psychic sometimes. Yes, Ensign. The Chief is a little pushed staff-wise, and I'm temporarily reassigning Spirit Crew to help with their workload.
Not a problem, sir. What can I do to help?
You any good with a plas welder, Ensign?
I came second in my class in basic engineering at the academy, sir.
I'll take that as a yes. Follow me.
Leyland here, go ahead.
Commander, are you about finished down there?
Yes, sir. The Chief's a bit snowed under with the amount of repair work his team has, so
Well, he's gonna hate me then.
Sir?
Well, we've just received a distress call from the scout survey team on Calypso. Seems they've had a fatality, some injuries, and equipment malfunctions. We're diverting from our patrol to render assistance. It looks like his talents will be needed.
I'll let him know, sir.
Rather you than me, Commander. Bridge out.
Chief, you're not going to like this.
Day 72. We are en route to the planet Calypso to render aid to the Scout Service Expedition, which is investigating the ruins there. With Lieutenant Harper recalled to Earth to testify in the tribunals against his father, in his absence, I've taken the opportunity to give Ensign Cross a turn behind the wheel, so to speak, after the glowing report he received from Dr. Imral.
Geosynchronous orbit established, sir. We're within shutter range of the base camp.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Mr. Leyland, what do we have on Calypso?
Class B world. Originally charted in 2245 by the Columbus probe, only explored properly by the USS Magellan in 2355. Open to archaeological investigation approximately 8 years ago, considered to be the most extensive and complete ancient ruins yet discovered.
Great. A pile of dusty old ruins being poked by a load of dusty old scholars, no doubt. Mr. Leyland, accompany me to the shuttle bay, please. Commander, you have the con.
Aye, sir.
Keep an eye open, Rachel. This sector's right up against the rimward Imperium border. We may get some unwelcome visitors.
I'll endeavor to convince them we don't want any, then.
Let's go, Stephen.
Calypso Base, this is Odyssey. We are responding to your distress call. An aid team is on its way down to the service.
Odyssey, this is Calypso. We're damn glad to hear a friendly voice, I can tell you.
This is Commander Albrecht. Our medical and engineering officers are on their way. They'll be with you presently. Anything else you need, let us know.
Thank you, Commander. We will. Calypso out.
Chief, will you stop complaining?
I'm sorry, sir.
You're only concerned because you're worried your repair crews won't be able to cope without you looking over their shoulders every 5 minutes.
It's not that, sir.
Really, Chief?
Sir, I take pride in my work. I don't deny it. Is it so bad if I just want to do the best job I can?
It is when you are working during your off-duty hours as well, Lieutenant Commander.
Is this true, Chief?
I don't like leaving a job half done.
Chief, if you don't take time off, it'll be you that ends up half done. I can't have my chief engineer working himself half to death just because he doesn't trust his own work crews.
Yes, sir.
I'll be detailing the doctor to keep an eye on you to make sure you take sufficient leisure time. And that means leisure, Commander, not, oh, I think I'll just pop down to main engineering and see if they need a hand for a couple of hours, either. I trust I make myself clear, Chief.
Crystal clear, sir.
We're approaching Calypso Base, Captain.
Nice flying, Ensign.
I came second in my class in basic shuttle piloting and astrogation.
What's the weather like, Mr. Leyland?
A brisk 150 degrees below zero, sir. I wouldn't recommend going for a run in shorts and sneakers.
It wasn't high on my list of priorities. Atmosphere?
Heavy concentrations of argon and nitrogen. There is a large percentage of oxygen, but not sufficient to breathe without assistance.
It would not be advisable in any event. One breath and you would freeze the inside of your esophagus. Not a pleasant way to expire.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. We really must get you to work on your patient skills.
My patient skills are more than sufficient to handle the minor issues I have had so far, sir. Autopsies, pharmaceutical dispensing, and counselling seem to fill most of my work hours.
Yes, well, I have a feeling your skills will be put to better use on this trip.
Calypso Base, this is Shuttlecraft Hermes. We have locked on to your automated landing beacon. We'll be touching down in ETA. 5 minutes.
I can see you on our visual detectors, Hermes. You're a sight for sore eyes, I can tell you.
Just make sure you get the coffee on, Calypso. It's not exactly tropical out there.
I forgot how claustrophobic these damn things can be.
Better confine them dead, sir.
Very true.
Airlock sealed. Pressurizing.
Welcome to Calypso Base. I'm Askadi Velder, the station's tech officer, and this is...
Melissa Franklin.
Mark Ryan.
I take it you two know each other then?
Yes.
If I'd known it was you, I'd have waited for the first Canis ship to happen along. God, even a Pangolian trading scout would have been preferable.
Lissa?
Don't you Lissa me. And it's not Franklin anymore either, it's Forbes now. Commander Forbes. I would appreciate it if you would refer to me by my proper rank, Captain.
Does he get this kind of reception a lot?
More often than not. Captain, Commander, I'm Stephen Leyland. We're here to render what help we can.
Yes, I'm sorry, Commander, of course. Follow me.
Your distress call mentioned something about equipment malfunctions?
Yes. The crawler Dr. Kellerman and Peter took out to the ruins was completely dead when the rescue party arrived.
Dead?
Yes, the batteries were drained completely. Very weird. We always make sure they're fully charged before anyone takes one out. It doesn't do to get caught out on the surface during a storm.
Yes, I saw the weather data. 200-mile-an-hour winds, negative 250 degrees.
Exactly.
Is it just vehicle troubles that you've been having?
No, we towed the crawler back. Then we had a problem with the solar reactor.
What kind of problem?
The power levels won't stay stable. We started losing output not long after the storm. We ramped up the reaction mass, but that only helped for a while. Then the output ratio dropped again. At this rate, we'll run out of fissionable material in a week or so.
What model is it?
Askadi?
It's a Sino Drive 1270 MB, if I remember right.
1270 MB. They're standard issue Frontier power generators. Built to last. You shouldn't be having a problem like this with it.
We reboot the reactor on a daily basis and run regular maintenance cycles. We've had no problems with it before.
Mind if I take a look at it?
I was hoping you'd say that. It's this way.
Ensign, with me.
Yes, sir.
Pupillary response slow. Skin feels slightly cold and clammy. Heartbeat erratic. Pulse slightly thready. Breathing deep but unsteady. Classic symptoms of shock.
Shock caused by what?
This.
What caused this condition?
We have no idea. We received Peter's distress signal and made straight for the site. When we got there, he was like he is now in Mike. Mike's body was in this state.
Doctor?
It would appear as if he just stopped.
What?
All sentient life relies on microscopic electrical discharges between cells, the messages the brain sends to the muscles, the pumping of the heart, your very thoughts themselves, all electrical energy.
Yes? So, what are you saying?
All the cellular activity in this man's body stopped at the same time. It is almost as if he was drained of every last scrap of electrical energy.
Weird.
You do not understand, sir. Cellular activity does not just stop. Even weeks after death, cells can continue to divide. Bacteria produce energy that causes the body to decompose.
I know that.
None of this is the case here. Everything in his body stopped. Indeed, if it were not for the environment suit he was wearing, his body would simply have crumbled into ash by now.
Well, what could cause something like that?
A massive depolarization of the nervous system. Brain and cellular membranes, all at precisely the same time. I have no idea.
Was he out in the storm?
Not that we're aware, no.
Even high-density ion bombardment would not cause this level of damage. He would have exterior lesions, skin burns. He does not have a mark on him.
Well, what's your expert opinion?
Honestly, I have no idea, Captain. I have never seen anything like this before in my life.
If there's something on this planet capable of doing this to a man, I want to know what it is.
I will endeavor to find out as quickly as possible, sir.
The initial survey team found no evidence of any living organisms on this planet. And ion plasma storms couldn't have done this.
Well, something did. Let's go over the incident itself and get out of the doctor's way.
As you can see, there's no external damage, and the system is adamant it's outputting 150% power, but
there's nowhere near that level coming into the storage batteries.
Is there something causing the resistance level of the felines to increase?
Why'd you say that?
It would explain why the level of the output is dropping between the reactor and the storage cells.
Good idea, Ensign, but no. With the temperature, the conductivity of the lines is increased, not decreased. No, it has to be a fault in the reactor vessel itself. Is there an inspection hatch?
Yes, around here. You're not thinking of poking around inside, are you?
Not while it's switched on. Come on, let's take a look-see.
Okay, Commander. Start from the top and tell us everything.
Mike and Peter were out at the primary dig site area. That's where the most intact section of ruins was uncovered.
Is it true what it says in the database about this place?
The most extensive ancient ruin site ever discovered? Pretty much. At least that we know of. Who knows if the Imperium or any of the other nations have located anything like this?
What happened?
Well, they'd done their routine check-in only about 20 minutes before, when we noticed a large storm brewing to the northwest and heading in our general direction. We never take chances with storms, so I caught them and informed them of the situation.
Go on.
Mike said they were too far into the catacomb section and couldn't get back to the crawler in time without being caught in the open. So they decided to take shelter in the ruins. The storm knocked out comms for a good 30 minutes. When it was over, we picked up the emergency beacon. When we got to the ruins, Peter was unconscious at the crawler and Mike.
I'm very sorry about Dr. Kellerman, ma'am. I'll go download the logs and see if we can learn anything from them.
Melissa, for what it's worth, I'm sorry.
Don't.
Do you really hate me that much?
I don't hate you, Mark. I never did. Okay, that might be slightly untrue.
Now we're being more honest.
I was screwed up, drugged up to the eyeballs on stardust most of the time. And then you come along. Tall, handsome. I thought all my prayers had been answered.
You know why I turned you in, don't you?
I do now, yes. Back then, I thought I couldn't hate anyone more than I hated you. It took me a year to clean myself up, claw my self-esteem back, and get back where I wanted to be. But I made it.
So I see. You should be proud of what you've achieved, Melissa.
Oh, I am. I have a good job, a fantastic son. Some things aren't so fantastic, though.
And where's the mister that goes with the surname?
Harrison? Oh, that died a death a long time ago. Around about the time we adopted Peter, he suddenly realized he'd rather investigate unexplored planets than have a family.
I kind of figured Peter wasn't your own son.
Oh, he's well aware he's not my biological child. But that doesn't mean there's any less love there. God, if anything happens to him...
Emerald might be a bit stiff, but she's an excellent medic. He'll be fine.
And Mike? What could do that to someone?
Well, that's what we're going to find out. The only problem is, the only possible witness we have is unconscious at the moment.
How's that? Any better? Still nothing.
Damn it.
Hang on a second. Try it now. Nope.
Son of a bitch. You should be pumping out enough energy to light half of this planet up. Why aren't you working?
Sir?
Yes, Tony?
The power wave guides are working fine, but just here. There's some kind of blockage.
You're right. Looks like something is clogging up the main feed distributor. Let's have a look.
Sir, shouldn't we switch off the juice before you go poking around in there?
Son, I've been poking around, as you say, in electronic and mechanical devices since before you were born, I reckon. Don't worry about it.
Well, if you say so, sir.
That's odd.
Sir?
I'm not reading anything at all in here. No residual charge, nothing. Hello?
Commander?
What's this? It looks like this is sucking juice from them.
What the hell just happened?
Damn it! I told him this was the bloody power off. Cross the Leyland. Repeat, cross the Leyland.
Leyland here. What's the problem, Mr. Gross?
Sir, the chief just took a hefty drop from the reactor and collapsed.
How is he?
I'm not sure. I came second in basic medical at the academy, but I can't really tell without getting him out of his suit.
The reactor's working fine now. Whatever he did, he must have fixed it.
Head for medbay. I'll inform the doctor. Get him inside quickly. If his suit got punctured...
What happened, Mr. Cross?
I think the Chief must have touched the feed lines when he was fixing the reactor.
Why didn't he turn the power off?
He did. I noticed him do it just before he started working on the panel again the second time.
Old engineer's trick. Never admit to a new bot that they've just missed something that's just been pointed out to them.
Strange.
Okay, Doctor. When you say strange, it's always enough to make me sit up and listen.
Chief Frost appears to have suffered no outward or internal injuries from the experience, which is odd. Even through the suit, that much plasma energy should have caused some burns, but he has none that I can detect.
Maybe he was lucky.
Yes, maybe.
What happened? Where am I?
Peter!
Take it easy, son. You've had a rough ride.
The ruins! Dr. Kellerman, is he...
Dr. Kellerman did not survive. I am sorry to report.
Oh, God.
Oh, Peter, what happened down there?
We went into the ruins, like the Professor said. The storm was really raging when we got into the main chamber. All of a sudden, I guess, it must have been a stray plasma bolt hit the building, and we got knocked over. A chunk of the wall collapsed, and there was this thing.
What thing?
I don't know. I guess it was some kind of box or block or something. The Professor got all excited. I asked him not to go near it, but you know what he's like with all these new finds.
Well, what happened?
He must have opened it or something. Next thing I know, there's this big flash. No bang though. I guess I must have passed out. When I came to, the Professor had gone. I figured he must have headed back to the crawler. I went after him. That's when I found him in the engine compartment.
You must have passed out after getting there. That's where we found you.
So, we're no nearer finding out what happened than we were 2 hours ago.
Captain, it would appear that the Chief is awake.
Chief?
That's not the Chief.
You are correct in your analysis.
Yay for me. Now who or what are you?
I am Athena.
And what's happened to my officer?
I have assumed control of this corporeal form to return to my place of waiting. The time is not yet. I must return to the Chamber of Eternity.
You're not going anywhere without answering our questions.
Your physical threats against this body are meaningless to us, although your demeanor suggests further analysis is needed.
And that means?
I think it means it wants answers, sir.
Really? Well, it can get to the back of the queue.
You will furnish us with information.
Oh no, we won't. You're going to release my officer first, and then maybe we'll talk.
The continued existence of this entity is dependent on answers. What are you?
I hardly think you're in any position to start demanding anything.
Such small minds, such small lives, easily stopped, easily started.
Captain, his vital signs are 0. There is no electrical activity in any of his cells.
God damn it! Okay, you've made your point.
How small and weak we have become. How far we have fallen.
What are you saying?
We detect that your body form matches our previous existence. Could it be...
Could it be... what?
Hang on. You're asserting that the human species is what you used to be before you changed?
We transcended physical limitations eons of your time ago. It is a primitive means of existence.
Watch who you're calling primitive.
It means that they evolved beyond their need for physical form, sir.
Contrary to what seems to be popular belief, I did understand what it meant.
We demand to know where the chamber is. We must return to it before our reserves are depleted.
Of course.
What?
It all makes sense now.
I'm glad to see someone knows what the hell's going on.
We know Mike left the chamber where that jar thing was found, yes? And we know he made his way as far as the crawler.
I am beginning to follow your train of thought, Mr. Velder.
Then please, be kind enough to explain it to me.
Captain, this entity, for want of a better word, seems to exist by absorbing ambient electrical energy. I assume that the storms on this world are not as violent as they were millennium ago.
From what we've gathered from our excavations, yes.
I presumed as much. It would seem that this being and his race would absorb the energy generated by the storms for sustenance. For some reason, this one was interred in the object Professor Kellerman disturbed at the dig site.
I see what you're saying now. This being, released from the object, was low on energy. The storm must have been like an all-you-can-eat buffet to it.
Precisely. However, in the state it was, it could not generate enough motive power by itself to leave the chamber, so it temporarily assumed control of the Professor, in a similar fashion to how it inhabited the Chief.
And with its batteries nearly drained, it absorbed all the electrical energy in Kellerman's body whilst doing so.
Precisely, Commander. It was not able to absorb the energy it needed from Kellerman. By the time it reached the surface, the storm was over. It detected the power plant on the crawler and headed there, arriving just as the body of the Professor reached the end of its usefulness. Apologies, Commander Forbes.
So it jumped from the body into the crawler's power plant and drained that too.
Ah, so that's why the batteries were dead when they arrived.
It would explain that, yes. Once the crawler was towed back to the base, the entity leapt to the next available large source of energy that was to hand.
The reactor.
Exactly. Having absorbed all the energy it required, it then tried to find its way back to the chamber.
You show logical thought processes. This was not expected. You have developed well.
It could explain a lot. Humanity was the only race to develop jump drive technology without studying ancient remnants, after all.
Bully for us.
We must return to the Chamber of Eternity. The time is not yet upon us.
Sir, we can't just let it walk out of here.
And we're not going to.
No! For God's sakes, leave him alone!
God? What is this God you speak of?
You have no concept of God?
Accessing memory centers of host organism. God. Supreme Being. Creator of the universe. We understand. Inheritor. We are God.
What did you say?
We were the first ones. We created all. We created the ephemerals, the inheritors.
What are these inheritors you keep talking about?
They were the soldiers in a war the likes of which you cannot comprehend.
Oh yeah? You should be me for a while, then say that. Actually, given the current situation, that's probably not a wise idea.
Mark, I think this is one of the ancients.
You what?
Define ancients.
The ancients? I believe you used to call yourselves the Tetrarch?
Ah. Yes, that is correct.
I don't believe this.
My lord. Just imagine the knowledge this being must have.
Right now, all I can think of is it's got my officer hostage.
You cannot comprehend the vastness of the universe, Inheritor. Its moods, its colors.
Look, I don't care if you are God Almighty. I want you to release my officer, now!
We created you to do our will, as we can unmake you at a whim.
Whoa, wait a minute. You're not unmaking anything, pal.
Captain, I don't think...
These are my officers, and you're not going to do so much as breathe on any of them while I'm around.
And what of these others? Are they of consequence to you?
All life is of consequence to us.
It would seem that the children have grown after all.
Why do I get the feeling we just passed a test?
We slept to avoid the attention of the enemy. The others left this reality for the great beyond. Our few brothers stayed to watch over this reality, to prepare for the day when the enemy would rise again, when the darkness between the stars would return.
I don't like the sound of that.
Wait a second. Bishop Stewart said something just like that.
Something is wrong.
What is it?
We have expended our reserves. We are destined for our existence to end.
What about the chief?
The entity known as Chief will be unharmed by our expiration.
We can't just let it die.
Lissa, this thing was responsible for Kellerman's death, and very nearly your son's.
It didn't know what it was doing. It was desperate.
Exactly why it's so dangerous. We're barely registering as alive to it now, let alone when it gets hungry again.
Your concern has been noted, Inheritor. We understand.
I cannot agree to you allowing this being to die, Captain.
I have to agree, sir.
Sir, this thing could have killed the chief. It killed Kellerman, Tech Velder, and me. Who knows who else it might kill? I vote we let it die.
Since when did the chain of command become a committee?
If this entity is telling the truth, there could be something terrible in store for everything. And you yourself said it mentioned something you seem to recall.
The energy signature is fading, sir. If we don't do something quickly...
All right, damn it, you made your case, and I can't argue with it. Now, is there anything we can do to keep it alive?
Well, we could try and transfer it back into the reactor.
No good. It will probably kill the chief making the transfer.
What about this box thing that it came out of? Will you be able to survive if we put you back where you came from?
It is possible that we could maintain our existence long enough for you to try.
How far are the ruins from here?
A good 30 minutes by crawler.
That's too long. Ensign, go warm up the shuttle. We're gonna have to airmail this package.
What will happen if you manage to get into this chamber of yours?
We will disporate for a standard cycle until our reserves have recharged.
Did you understand any of that?
Not a word. I just hope he means he'll go to sleep and wake up when he's refreshed.
Yeah, the problem is how long will he be asleep for?
I'm guessing their concept of time is different from ours. It could be seconds. It could be years.
It could be centuries. But we don't have the luxury of a question and answer session right now. We've arrived. Is this close enough?
This will be sufficient. Beware, inheritor. Beware the old ones.
What did it mean? Beware the old ones.
Let's just hope we never have to find out.
Oh God. My head. What happened?
You had a lodger, Mr. Frost. Be glad he didn't want to stay there permanently.
Sir?
I think you need to take a long break, and that's an order.
How's your engineer?
A sore head and some trouble with fine motor skills. The doctor says he'll be back to normal in a day or so, which is a relief for his staff.
They'll be glad to see him back to work?
Oh, Lord, no. They're glad the doctor has confined him to quarters for 2 days. They're the ones who'll be glad of the break.
Well, we've got a spare reactor on its way here. With a bit of luck, we can rig it up to trickle feed the entity energy. Hopefully it will allow it to awaken in a better state than last time, and we might get some answers.
I wouldn't hold my breath, Lissa. Still, we have to wait and see. Everything else okay down there?
Yes, Mark. And thank you.
You're welcome. Once the resupply shuttle is docked, we'll be on our way. Odyssey out. Once Hermes is back on board, set a course to return to our patrol route, Mr. Cross.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Leyland, you have the con.
Aye, aye, sir.
How you feeling, Chief?
A lot better, thank you, sir. Still, a little bemused by what went on.
You and me both, Commander.
The chief has been filling me in. Seems like you had an interesting trip, sir.
Oh, yes. It's not every day you get a chance to speak to God.
What?
What was it like, sir?
Well, like most things, she wasn't all she was cracked up to be.
One question, though.
What?
If the ancients were the first sentient life to develop, as the doctor mentioned, where did they come from?
I don't know. Who knows? Still, in the end, something stopped it from wiping us all out.
A sense of pity?
I don't think so. It felt more like, well, it was more a sense of family, maybe?
Perhaps there's hope for God after all.
Yes, sir. But what about these old ones it talked about?
I don't know. Maybe nothing. Maybe they just went away like the ancients. I hope so.
You don't sound too sure, sir.
Sometimes, Commander, hope is all we have.